Hello, my name is Stephen Turnham, and today I'm going to be persuading you guys on how the NFL two helmet rule is, in my opinion, a dumb rule and why I think it should be changed. The two helmet rule in the NFL is a rule where it keeps teams from having more than one helmet per player every week, and I'm going to get into that. And I'm going to go into why I think the rule needs to be changed and why some firsthand experience helped me along the way. In 2013, the NFL changed the rule that teams could have more than one helmet per player in the system. And what that means is teams often have throwback uniforms that they can use, and oftentimes the helmet would be a different color. Obviously, you can't paint that helmet week by week, or if you did, it would be costly. What it comes down to is I have an example here. This is an MTSU football helmet. It's not it's a shell of a football helmet. It's not padded or anything, but this is a helmet. So this helmet is silver, obviously. So if MTSU were to wear, say, a white or blue football helmet, that would be another helmet. So what the NFL's rule does is it prohibits teams from having more than one helmet. So MTSU would have to decide what one helmet they would like to go with. The NFL does that, or did that, for player safety, and what I do agree that the safety of the players is the most important thing to be worried about. However, I have some firsthand experience that would lead me to believe that player safety isn't threatened by having more than one helmet, and that's what I'm going to get into. I worked with the Middle Tennessee State University football program as a manager on the equipment staff last football season. I actually don't do that anymore, but I did work with them. And MTSU actually has a chrome helmet, a blue helmet, a white helmet, a silver helmet, and a black helmet. That's 5 helmets. So if you're thinking about it that way, the football program would have to limit all those helmets to make one. They'd have to choose one of those 5. Which, if you go look in college, a lot of schools have a lot of different helmets they can choose from. And I'm going to use my firsthand experience on how I think it didn't impact players. Obviously, a player will wear the same type of helmet week by week, no matter the color. So this helmet here is a helmet that is actually outdated a little bit, but it's the only helmet I can get my hands on with this virus. It is a Schutt helmet, and they have a helmet called a Schutt Air XP, which some of you may be familiar with, some of you may not be. It's just got, this one obviously doesn't have the padding inside, but what it comes down to is each helmet goes through serious testing, and they use these helmets, they put them on like dummies. I would use that word as dummies, like a dummy person, and they would put it through serious contact as if it were going through the NFL week by week hitting, and I think that they determined that these helmets are indeed, okay to go to battle, as some might say. I think that they wouldn't allow the helmet to be sent off to be in use if they didn't feel comfortable with it being used. And the NFL says that a player's head, gets used to playing in the same helmet, and it's safer that way. I actually think it is. While I think that makes sense, I think that it makes more sense that you're getting a fresh helmet every week. Maybe not every week as you would be in college per se. If the NFL were to let teams use more than one helmet, it would allow them to open up more opportunities for alternate uniforms and or throwback uniforms, which is a big thing for a lot of fan bases. A lot of fans love throwback uniforms. I'm going to use the Atlanta Falcons as an example. The Atlanta Falcons use a all-black helmet, and they just recently changed uniforms 2 weeks ago at most. They used to have a black helmet with a black face mask with their signature logo on the side. It is now a black helmet with the same logo, but with a silver face mask. And they actually have a throwback uniform that they use that is a black helmet as well, but has a black face mask. some might say, no, wait a second. How can they have two helmets if the NFL allows them to only have one helmet? It's because of the one helmet rule. They will basically use that helmet and take off the sticker of the new logo. As you can see, this is a sticker. It's just a decal. It's not a painted on there. They will take off that sticker and put on the throwback logo, which would be a logo designed in the 90s, and they will use that. What the NFL, is discussing is going back to the two helmet rule, where they can have more than one helmet. The New England Patriots wear silver helmets as their main uniform. They have a throwback where the helmet is white. If the NFL allows two helmets again, that would allow them to use that signature throwback that everybody knows and loves. Like I said, each helmet goes through serious testing, and I think that it's very important to keep players safe, but I also think it's very important to point out that each helmet goes through serious enough testing that it is proven that it will be just fine in games. And I don't think it has that big of an impact, whereas if a player is going to get a concussion in a game by a serious hit, I don't think wearing a black helmet versus wearing a throwback helmet one week and a signature helmet one week is going to change that. If the guy gets hit hard enough to get a concussion, he's going to get a concussion. There's some questions that people would ask. How much would it cost for these helmets, extra helmets? I can't give you a for sure answer on that because teams get direct information that we don't have access to. And like companies like Rydell and Schutt, they have straight rates that they would, hey, this team says we need 100 football helmets. Then they would say, okay, here's your rate. And I would guess around $10,000, maybe $12,000. But with teams, are you willing to pay that? Most teams are willing to pay that extra money. Player safety, I'm going to go back to it. Testing, it goes through numerous amounts of testing, each helmet does, and they won't send it out to be used by a player if they don't feel comfortable with it being used in the safety. And then if they don't feel comfortable with it being used in the safety, they won't send it to the players to be used in a game. I have a comparison that I'd like to make. In the NHL, teams, which is the National Hockey League, they use their home helmet. This is a Warrior hockey helmet. It's got similar padding to a football helmet if you want to look at it that way. Each team has a white helmet that they would use on the road. They also have a colored helmet that they will wear at home games with their home uniforms, and that is also a thing I'd like to go back. That's two helmets that they use. You go back and look at it, and each player's safety is not threatened by wearing a white helmet versus a blue helmet, say, any game. The Predators use a gold helmet for home games and white helmet for away games. Player safety is not threatened, it's just the same helmet, but it's a different color on the outside. That's why I'm saying that it's not any different. In conclusion, why did the NFL change? Because they thought it threatened player safety. It won't threaten player safety. The NFL is actually going back and trying to talk about it now. They're discussing going back to letting teams have more than one helmet now. My MTSU, being an MTSU manager, helped me learn a little more about this situation. That's why I came to you guys today with this information. And I go back to the serious testing. That is the biggest key. The companies will not let the helmets go into games if they don't feel comfortable with the helmet being tested in a facility. And I would like to thank you guys for listening today. Thank y'all.